If you've scuffed any areas during your installation, use a brush or use a small amount from the tip of the tube of touch-up kit and then sprinkle mineral on top. Any area of your installation where you've penetrated the tile, such as at the eaves, it's important to seal the nail head with touch-up kit. First, you can take a nail and punch the nail head in so it's sitting flat. Then you can apply with a brush or with a bottle an amount of touch-up kit around the nail and then sprinkle the mineral over the top. I'm going to demonstrate to you how to gauge a roof where the rafters haven't been cut to size, so that you can fit your installation with full tiles from ridge to eaves without the need for any cutting or bending. As you can see, I've extended the rafters on the training deck, and the first thing I'm going to do is fit a double ridge batten centrally, and this is going to be the point that I take all my measurements from to cut the rafters. I've put the double ridge batten in place. I'm using a single one on this example, but obviously dependent on the style of accessory you're using, the distance of this, you may have to use two, one either side of the roof, depending on the width of your accessory. The first thing I'm going to do is measure from this top edge, both sides. Imagining this was a long roof with maybe 20 rafters, I would measure down and I would find a consistent point that all the rafters can be cut to, usually going from the shortest rafter length. So the shortest rafter in our training deck is 158. The closest measurement of full tiles would be 148. So either side of the roof, no matter how many rafters are in between, I will mark each end rafter to 148. Working from the top point of the ridge batten, I measure down 148. And the same the other side, always from this edge. From this mark here, I know this will be the nose of my fourth tile. I want to take into allowance the overhang and the thickness of the fascia board to be fitted. The fascia board is 20 millimeters and I want a 40 millimeter overhang. So I will mark up 60 either side of the roof. Now install a marker nail either side. And this is to take a string line so I can cut the central rafters in between these 2 points. Once I have the chalk line in, I either mark it with a pencil or I ping it to give me a cut line. And I use the string line as a plumb bob to show me where I need to put a vertical cut in for the rafter. After every rafter has been marked all the way along your roof, then you can cut them with a handsaw. This should provide a nice flat level surface for your fascia board to sit onto. Does that look alright? So we measure from our top point to check where our measurement comes out at the bottom. We had 148, we allowed 20 millimeters for the fascia board, the thickness. We've allowed 40 millimeters for the overhang. So the measurement between this point here and this point here should be 142. So allowing our 60 millimeters for our fascia board and for our overhang, I now mark 37. I've installed marker nails either side. This is to run a string line across, and dependent on how many rafters you have running, you can then put a marker nail in each rafter as you go, and you will have a consistent line to fit your first batten to, and also to use your gauge to put marker nails in for the rest of the roof. Now, using my gauge that I made earlier, Joe will now put the marker nails in the roof. So now we have installed all of our marking out nails on our demonstration piece. We can now lay out the battens without fixing them and check the measurement from front edge to front edge. This is where the back and the nose of the tile are going to sit. When fixing battens, more often than not, your timber's not going to be straight. This front line is dependent on the installation being straight. So when you have a distance between your marker nail and your timber, fix the two sides first and then pull your timber down. While he fixes the batten with a nail and then takes a marker nail out and installs it on the next batten up. He repeats the process again. The style of this installation, you can fix the top tile as per other installations when you start one tile down. The top tile can be fixed in place and then a course can be run in right down to the eaves. Such as this can be fixed in the side and then are capped with the accessory, and this can then be fixed at intervals along the ridge. So when fixing tiles on the roof, it's often a good idea, if possible, depending on the pitch of the roof, to stand where the batten meets the tile before putting your fixing in. This will draw the tile up and give you a tighter fixing. And when walking generally on the roof, try and keep your footprints central and wherever there is a batten, such as here and here. Never walk on the ridges, otherwise you can cause damage.